Hello, 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 all of my lover faces. Welcome to an afternoon delight. It's a repeat performance with Ann and Lynn from the AnnLynn show. They requested another Country Mama Quickie, so we put together this special afternoon delight for these ladies to come up and join us. I had to make sure I have my lipstick on. And look, I have my favorite coffee cup with me. We'll clink in a little bit. It's got lipstick on it, but it has a heart with my best friend's name on it. So I don't want to go too much into that. I want to welcome everybody in the chat. I see we've got the Major, we've got the Blue Pixie, and we have Lisa from Yogi Hollow Farm. If I've missed anybody, I apologize. I'm going to bring the ladies up, and just know that when I'm in the interview with them, I won't be responding to the chat because I want to give them my full attention. Try to catch up to you a little bit later as things goes on. As things go on. But for now, let's bring up Ann and Lynn from the AnnLynn show. So there's one and there's two. Welcome, ladies. That was good timing.
Yes.
Welcome.
The phones are ringing. So I know you ladies like to clink. Does everybody bring a clink?
Yes, I've got my red
clink
mug
and start
today.
the day. I've got my heart mug for Valentine's Day.
I got to go this way.
I love
I
that.
gotta go that way. Clink and down.
Clink, clink,
Clink,
clink,
clink.
clink.
Welcome, ladies. Hello, Andale. Hello, Ben's Over Acres. I'm so glad that you ladies wanted to join me again for another quickie. And so I have new questions, and I think today everything's going to be revolving around love. So you have your coffees. We've clinked. I'm going to, before we get going too much though, I did bring a special drink. Look at how pretty.
Oh.
I want to raise this in honor of my mama. My mama would have been 88 today.
Oh.
So today is my mama's birthday on Valentine's Day. We were in a live earlier shooting our podcast around the hay bale, and Casey over in the podcast said, well, today is Valentine's Day. And I was just like, it just dawned on me. It's like it hit me like a ton of bricks. I knew it yesterday. I knew it this morning. I knew it last week. But just hit me like a ton of bricks this morning. It's like, it's my mama's birthday. So cheers to my lovely mama.
Cheers.
Now, that's good. This is rum chata. It was supposed to have a strawberry liqueur in it.
Yes.
But I couldn't get the lid off the strawberry liqueur. And I was supposed to float it so it would be white and pink with the sprinkles on the top. I'm supposed to have whipped cream on here.
Oh,
well. The last time I had one, I did my entire video with like a white sprinkle on the end of my nose. So if you ladies see a sprinkle at the end of my nose, you be sure to let me know. How are you ladies doing? Give us an update on how things are going in your life. While the heat of this rum chata just goes right down my gullet.
Ooh. Go ahead, Ann.
Okay. Well, so first of all, last week in my mailbox, on top of my letters, I received a Valentine, and it does not say who it's from. So I have a mystery Valentine. So if you're my mystery Valentine, then I just want to say happy Valentine's to you.
To the heart.
But my real Valentine, the one I live with, did really well. He sent me a dozen red long stem roses. And so they're downstairs. I was going to bring them up here, but it's quite a haul up here. So he did excellent. I'm very, very happy because I love flowers. And it's rare that I get them. So he does other things, but I'm like, I would really like flowers sometime, please.
Right.
So anyhow, he did well. So I guess that's what's going on.
So, okay. What about you, Lynn?
How's
your week going?
Well, it's going all right. Yesterday, cameraman and I did go out and we had lunch. We had brunch after church. And so that was a really nice time just to be together. And food was so good and everything was wonderful. Except today I received a phone call from a friend who had a COVID test for a procedure. You know how they do it a few days
Watch your
ahead.
words. Watch your verbiage.
Oh,
Oh
yes.
gosh.
Cinnamon Vanilla.
Cinnamon vanilla.
Corbin Benson is a wonderful actor. Corbin. That's
Oh,
what
well,
you said, right?
they
Corbin.
had,
She said Corbin.
Yeah.
well, they're having a procedure. So you have to have cinnamon tested before you do. And I got a call this morning. They got cinnamon. So I'm stuck in the house for a few days with cameraman.
Ring, ring. I got cinnamon sugar. Happy
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Oh, and that was like,
Oh,
gosh. So I tell you what, I think it's going to be just fine. I'll have to be in here for a few days with cameraman.
oh
No.
no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
With my husband.
What are you going to do?
Bake a cake, celebrate,
Hmm,
have a party.
very nice.
That sound
I
good?
say you take advantage of that Corbin Benson time. That cinnamon
Absolutely.
vacation.
I apologize for that.
No.
I am so used to, blah.
Oh, it's not going to compare to anything to what I drop on you ladies later, so it doesn't matter.
Now, can we refuse to answer a question
Of course.
if it like incriminates us,
Oh no.
Oh.
or it might shatter the image that people have of us?
Where did you bury the body? Oh, well, we spent the weekend on Eagle Watch here.
Yes.
We had this last week, we have a pair of bald eagles. They're majestic and beautiful. They are just right outside on our walnut tree. They hung out, I think it was Thursday or Friday. And I thought, oh, they won't be back. Well, they came back this weekend. So hubby got to see them. So we were just kind of on bald eagle watch all weekend long. And it's neat because they're Twitter pated. Bald eagles mate for life.
Yes. Yes.
And this is
Yeah.
obviously a pair. And I did a lot of research once they landed in the tree, and they were sitting there for a while. And after they left and I was putting my video together, I did some research on them. And they don't get the white head and the white tail until they're about almost 5 years old.
Mm.
So this is a mature pair that have been together for a while, and they're just hanging out in my tree like two
Isn't that
little
cool?
lovebirds. And so that was kind of how we spent our weekend, like watching for the little lovebird eagles up in the nest there. So that was kind of fun. My dog's going to make a noise.
Oh.
Oh, it wasn't that bad this time. That one was bad.
Now that sounded like a human being. I have to
It's
tell
our
you.
dog.
He
She
sounds-
does it every
She sounds like a
live.
human.
Anytime I go, I don't know if she's sick of hearing my voice. I don't know what it is, but she does it every single time. So, but I said to Papa Jim this weekend, I said, gosh, we should do something. He kept saying, do you want to do something? It's like, I'll get dressed if you want to go do something. He's like, no, I just want to chill. We don't have the money right now. We're in between pay periods. Like, it's okay. And then the same thing yesterday. And then it dawned on me that night. It's like, oh man, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and we didn't really plan anything. We should have at least gone to Dairy Queen last night or something, but we'll save it. He reminded me we're going somewhere special on next Saturday anyways. So we'll make up for it then. But sure do love
Absolutely.
watching those eagles.
And so romantic because they do mate for life, don't they? So
They do.
what
And
a
I
way to start the
understand,
weekend off.
I've got to watch my little dogs and I've got to watch my chickens, and I know it
Okay.
has a potential for danger, but they're
Yes.
so beautiful. And the way they were talking to each other was amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Did you
The
get-
chit-chat back and forth between the two of them?
Were you able to get any video?
Yes. Yeah, I posted a video last Friday.
Okay. I'll
It's
have to
only
double
3 or
back.
4 minutes or something. And unfortunately, because I'm shooting it from out the window and the sun's behind them, it's really more of a silhouette of them in the window. And you can hear them talking through the closed window. But I was afraid if I opened the window, I'd startle them.
Yeah.
And I was afraid if I moved, I actually, while I was recording them, I said, I'm going to go check on my chickens, and I left. And while I was gone, the female came back and she flew back in front of the window a couple times, and I didn't even know it until I was editing. So it was pretty neat.
Well, that is neat.
Yeah. So it's neat because as I sit here, when they fly over the house, like this big, huge shadow goes across the house. So now I know when they're around because nothing's leaving that big of a shadow that should be out and about in my orchard.
Right.
So then I jump up and I check the windows. So let's
Awesome.
get our quickie over our afternoon delight. Then we'll talk about some other fun things. I have new questions.
Okay.
I'm going to modify my questions so that they're a little bit more Valentine's Day related. And I had my first one up and now I've lost it. But I guess here it is. I want to know, and I don't know if I asked you this one the last time we had a quickie, but I only have select cards. When we're done with them, we're done with them. I'm not going to time it this time.
Okay.
Last time I think we went over anyways because we were having so much fun.
Yes.
So welcome everybody in the chat. Here we go. And I'm going to ask both of you. So one of you will get a chance to think while the other one is answering.
Ooh.
Lynn, who was your very first celebrity crush?
Well, in the 80s, it was Magnum PI. So it's Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
That mustache. And what about you?
Well, I don't remember the actor's name, but there was a guy that played Blue Boy on it was a Western.
Okay.
Blue Boy on a Western.
It is an old 1970s Western. And oh gosh, it was the guy, and he had a ranch. It was like the Ponderosa, but it was not the Ponderosa. But anyhow, it was a character on that Western, and his name, he went by Blue Boy. If you look up Blue Boy and 70s Westerns.
Okay, well maybe somebody in the chat can find that for us and let us know what the show was.
Blue Boy.
Although, you know,
High Chaparral. I just got it.
What is it? High
Chaparral.
Okay, because you never know what the chat's going to enlighten you to.
Yeah, the
right,
High
Lynn?
Chaparral.
That's right.
Right, Lynn?
Yes.
Lynn,
Absolutely.
Lynn and I were talking backstage while Ann was on a phone call.
Yeah.
So Lynn knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
will share with you that my very first celebrity crush was Speed Racer, the cartoon, and Underdog. I really had a thing for Underdog. I really did. But if we're talking about real people, I would say my first real crush was James at 15. Do you remember that show in the 70s?
Oh, yes.
It was like James at 15, James at 16. I just had a thing for James. And I married a James, not because of Lance Kerwin. Ooh, I remembered his name. But I really had a crush on him. So,
well, I guess if I go back, I just thought about it. I loved way back in the 60s, there was a show called Stony Burke. And it is the fellow that went on to star in Hawaii Five-0. Anyway, when he was a cowboy, that reminded me, Anne, what you said. So Stony Burke in the 60s.
There was a lot of Westerns.
I fell in love with a cowboy. And then Tom Selleck comes along as a cowboy. Woo-hoo.
I have to change my answer because I just remembered my very, very, very first crush was Freddie the Frog from the New Zoo Review.
Oh, that's an old show.
Do you remember that show?
Yes.
It's the New Zoo Review.
Yes.
Coming straight to you.
Yep.
And Freddie the Frog. I had a thing for Freddie the Frog.
Ribbit.
It took me a while to evolve into actual human beings. I really liked the cartoons and the animated characters. It says a lot about me. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Anne, I'll start with you since it's Valentine's Day. Share with us, what is the absolute best date you've ever been on with your Valentine?
Okay, current or past?
Your current Valentine.
Oh. The best Valentine we've had?
Your best date. Your best date that you've ever been on with your current Valentine.
Oh. Honestly, can't think. We've been able to go a lot of places and see a lot of things and live a lot of different places. So I can't really pick out anything. Oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can. I mean, so we like to go to bed and breakfast
Mm-hmm.
places. We like those. That's when we travel, when we have traveled, we've gone to them. And there is one that I really love, and it's an old mansion. It was owned by the DuPont family, and it is gorgeous. And so we have had the opportunity to stay in their presidential suite. I've actually a couple of times, and then they're like their number two suite, and they are just like that's what I like. We also went to one in Arkansas, um, and it was really cool. I mean, to me, that's like well, I guess that's like a weekend date, but that's what I have really enjoyed with him is when
Oh,
we've been able to go to these bed and breakfast and really do it up and go down to the dining room in the morning and you're eating on all this beautiful fine china and the breakfast and the food is so good, you
yes,
know, and then you sit there of course with strangers that you don't know, but that makes it that much more fun because then you can either talk about real life or you can enhance your life a little bit. You're never gonna see them again, right? But
exactly.
but we are truthful. But yeah, I really enjoy the bed and breakfast experience, and that's what we've done several times. So
Lovely.
yes.
Lynn, what about you?
Well, because our anniversary is the 4th of February, and then with Valentine's, a few years back, we have a local state park, and it has an inn. It has a dining room and the inn. You know, it's all, and it's one of my favorite places in the whole wide world to go to. The state park is, and the inn. And so I booked a. It was booked as a romantic. You got the honeymoon suite. And of course state parks don't give liquor so at that time, so we had the apple cider and they gave us the glasses, champagne glasses, and there was sweets in there, chocolate, and then we had dinner that night, and that was probably the most romantic, is just going somewhere which calls it the honeymoon suite. That was neat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then when I was working full time, and cameraman was also, we've never been a couple. I know it's going to sound awful. Please don't throw stones here, but Anne knows we've never been a couple that have bought each other individual birthday presents or Christmas presents or things of that nature. He's so good to me. He allows me to, I just have that freedom all the time to do things, and I give him that. So anyway, we've just never been those kind of people. Uh, a lot of times we didn't have the extra, when you're growing up your family, it kind of goes to the kids. So, but when I was still working at the library, he outdid himself. I mean, it was like the best ever. He sent me a singing big Marler balloon that said,
Myler.
"Yep, Marler." It said, "I've got you, babe," and, and he sent flowers, and he sent candy, and everybody in the library I worked with, they knew someone loved me,
Oh,
and
that's
so that
sweet.
was that was the most romantic gesture he's ever, I think, done.
That's neat.
It
I
was
will
neat.
share with you that I think I've got a lot of favorite dates with
Yeah.
Papa Jim that I can recall. But while you ladies were sharing, the one that kept coming up to mind was it's right around Christmas time. We had gone to Laughlin and we were staying in a hotel on the river. And we woke up that morning, we had breakfast, and we went back to the room. He's like, "Do you want to watch a movie?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so he pulled up The Notebook to watch, which, it's a girly chick flick. I know he didn't really want to watch The Notebook, but he watched The Notebook with me. And of course, at the end, I'm crying because it's so beautiful the way it
Yes.
ends and everything. And he says, "Get dressed." And he says, "We're going on a ride." And I said, "Okay." And so we hopped in the car and he drove me all the way to Las Vegas so I could have hot chocolate with my mother.
Oh.
We drove all the way to Vegas and he didn't tell me what we were doing. I mean, I knew once we started heading that direction, and I was thinking, gosh, I hope we get to see my mom. And we pulled up and he says, "I think we just need to go have a hot cocoa with your mom." And it's like,
Wow.
he's my Noah.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
And
That
it's
is
like that's the kind of love. I recall it was around that time that my coworkers were upset that for that thanks I think it was for that Valentine's Day, like I didn't get the flowers at work and I didn't get the candies at work. And it's
mhm,
like, but he does so many other things for me.
yes.
You know, he's my Noah. He drove me to see my mother. I was often late to work because when we would be driving into work and we worked in the same town, he could see me looking at the window going, oh, because we lived in wine country and all of the balloons were
Yes.
going up. And he would take a detour. It's like, where are you going? He goes, I'm going to go take you to see the balloons. And we would
Wow.
just park and we would watch the balloons fill up and take off. And we would be late for work. But it didn't matter. He didn't care that he was going to be late for work.
Mhm.
He's like, I just want to sit here and watch the balloons with you. So that's just a
Aw.
great
Oh,
kind of thing to have. Look what I brought. Look what I brought. There's my Valentine.
Aw.
oh,
Aw.
some Valentine and beautiful Valentine at there. Beautiful.
That's at our dinner for our 25th wedding anniversary party.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Well,
Aw.
those are my
Beautiful
best
couple.
dates. And you ladies had lovely first dates, and I love bed and breakfasts. And it's good to have the men that spoil us.
Mhm.
Yes. And
Okay.
yes, yes. Mine does all the time. So, yes.
What food always takes you back to a most memorable meal with your Valentine?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, usually when we go out special, we're either having like Red Lobster, we're having something there, or we're having a steak. It's a
Mhm.
steak. So I guess those are our two, my two favorite meals are steak and potato and salad and that, or
Mm.
seafood. And
Mhm.
recently we were with, well, recently, how long has it been, Anne? A year ago we were with you, and
Yeah, when we went to New Hampshire
right,
together.
and cameraman and I, of course, we save up for our vacations, and so we splurged on our vacation, and we had lobster, and we made an absolute mess of it, and poor Dave and Andy's had to watch
They
us.
they they
We had
both
our
had
bibs
they both had these humongous lobsters, and they're
on.
over there cracking them and sucking the meat out of them, which I do like lobster, but I don't want to break it all apart. But
Oh,
they made pigs of themselves, and I
we
took
did.
pictures, and it was hilarious. And also it was like, man, I was so happy that they went for it. They
We went
just
for
they went for it. Yes, which was awesome. That I was like, you think they're going to do it? I'm asking my husband. I'm going, Dave. You think they're going to get lobster? Really? And they did. So I was like, that was cool. I just thought it was a cool. It was cool.
it. It
It
was
was really
fun,
cool. It was
and we,
fun.
we can still be a fun couple and just go for
Yeah,
it.
they
And we
just went
See, I
for it.
don't eat seafood at all. As a matter of fact, and this is
oh
before I became vegetarian. I just
yes,
don't do seafood. But one time, Papa Jim wanted to go like to a Joe's Crab Shack or something,
yes,
and
yes.
he's ripping things and juice is flying, and I'm like this. I'm holding up things to block it from landing in my food. But as far as the most memorable fun food, we used to love to go to a place called the Claim Jumper,
Oh
and
yes,
we love to get
yes,
the mother load. It's not
yes,
every day that we would get the mother load, but on special
yes.
occasions, we would get the mother load. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's like a 7-layer chocolate cake, and it is death by chocolate. It
Oh,
really is like Anne's trying to show. It's like this tall, and
I
they
got
bring
it.
out a big slab of it. It's like a piece of it is like, I don't know, $12 or something for a piece of cake.
Yes.
Now
Yeah.
I can't say that I've ever been there before, but DeGurley, my daughter's been there, and her that they used to live close to one, and then when they were coming back to visit somebody,
Mhm.
she went on the airplane and she brought an entire one on the plane with her in a box
Oh
to
my
bring it
gosh.
home.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I
It
mean,
needed its own seat. They charged
y-
airfare.
she was. I mean, I wish she was here. She had they had an appointment today, but anyhow, yeah. So she's all about the claim jumper. Now you asked for me about that, so I um There, I don't know if you have them out there, if anybody knows of the melting pots, and they are a
I've heard of
fondue
them.
restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And now I thoroughly enjoyed that. One time we got treated. Um, we used to work together in the same company and different um, departments,
Apartments.
but but in the office. And our plant manager at the time treated us to go there
Mhm.
and just have a big meal, have whatever you want, and he is like, put it on the plant credit card. So we did. And I had like a couple of the yin and yangs, the white chocolate and all the other
Uh-huh.
good stuff in it. And I brought, and we had the fondue, the meat and the cheeses, and it's like you're there for like 2 hours. It's a big long fondue experience. And then we brought home spices,
Oh, how fun.
and I wasn't driving, so it was just like, it was wonderful. And
Art.
so then we went back, but after that, but it wasn't quite the first experience, because your first time doing something like that, and then when you're not paying for it yourself, of course. We had
Oh,
an
yeah.
uncle that said he'd go, well, they'd take us out to dinner when I was a kid. They'd take our family out, and he'd go, it always tastes better when somebody else is paying for it, don't it? Then
Right?
he'd just laugh. Our Uncle Red, he was such a character. But yeah, claim
Mhm.
jumper. I know DeGurley's all about that, and that cake,
Yes.
and
I
the
see the
melting
chat
pot.
moving. I just want to remind everybody I won't be reading the chat while I'm speaking with the ladies here on
Right.
our
Yeah.
Valentine's afternoon delight. If Papa Jim were here, he would say his favorite is when we go out to Japanese teppanyaki because
Oh,
he loves the whole Benihana thing.
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes.
They
I
throw
do
rice
too.
in your mouth and they make
Hmm.
corny jokes, and we just laugh and laugh, and we have so much fun.
Just
We do
Those
fun.
are
love those. I
fun.
haven't been to one of those in years. So, okay, ladies. Name one Valentine related bucket list item that you would like to do with your Valentine someday.
I want to do the zip line.
Nice.
I want to go zip lining somewhere, and we've been to a lot of places that offer it, and we've never done it. I want to go zip lining as long before it gets too late and I can't. And they go,
Yes.
"Lady, you're too old," So, yeah,
Oh,
zip line.
fun, fun. Lynn?
Well, I saw this. This sounds weird, but um, there is a Diamond State Park in Arkansas,
Mm-hmm.
and you can go there, and you can look for diamonds in the ground. You can rent the equipment there because you need equipment, or you can bring your own in. And I think if cameraman and I had time, like to drive that distance and go for a few days and I know it sounds, but really walk through the diamond fields, and just see what you could find. I think that would be now that would be. I mean, can you imagine if they find big diamonds a lot there, and I just think that'd be kind of fun
That
to
would be fun.
just as a couple, walking together and having fun looking for diamonds. And also, I think is it Georgia or Alabama, there's a place where you can go and look for gold. I mean, that it's an actual structured place, and I don't know. I love the outdoors. I do not go outdoors like I did years ago, but I love the outdoors, and I think something like that with your other, we used to go hiking years and years ago. I had hiking boots, and we hiked. So I think something like that would be kind of fun. But if I had
Oh,
extra money, I would go look for diamonds in Arkansas.
arr. I
Arkansas,
say if you do it, you have to speak with a pirate's voice for the entire
Arkansas.
date.
Well, there is I don't know what day it is, but there is a Talk Like a Pirate Day. We did a
There
show on it one
is.
time.
We did.
Talk Like a
Yeah.
Pirate. Yeah, we did a whole
Um,
show on that. Talking Like a Pirate Day.
I think my bucket list item with my Valentine for Valentine deal would be it, and it is on our list of things to do. I really want to do an Alaskan cruise.
Oh, me
Oh,
too.
And if I'm going to do it, I want to do
Yeah.
it big. I want to have the room with the balcony so I can sit out there
Hmm.
in the morning in a
Yeah.
robe with
Yep.
my hot coffee and just look at the glaciers.
Oh,
That's
wouldn't that be
my
something?
thing.
Oh,
So I've been
Yes.
looking into that. It's not on our trip detail for what we've got coming up, but it
right.
is on our list to do. So I've been really wanting to do that for a while.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Oh,
and they do have zip lines where you can actually sit in
yes.
them instead of wearing the whole
Yeah.
harness.
Yeah. Yeah. That would work well.
Because I'm
Yes.
looking into that too, and there's no way you're getting this fat rear end into a harness. But in a seat thing, I'll do.
Now, it says here September the 19th is Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Well, then that's when yeah, a few years,
When
well,
you
a
have
couple
to
years
plan it.
back when we first started. Well, 3 years ago, actually. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Lynn, where do you know where that is in Arkansas?
I can look it up
Because
while
I just found out this last week, Papa Jim and I were married in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And I just found out, I didn't realize, I mean, I knew
oh, heard
that
that
Hot Springs
story.
was a national park,
Mm.
but I
yes.
didn't know that the town was in the national park. And I was really excited to find out this week I was married in a national park and
Isn't
didn't even
that,
know it all this time.
that is so
That is
awesome.
so
It's
cool.
it's called the Crater of Diamonds State Park, and it's in State Park in Pike County, Arkansas, and that's what it says.
Oh, I'll have to look into that and see about adding it to our. I know I'm going to say it wrong, but it's supposed to be called like your triptychs or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something like that called. Okay. So we answered that one. Lynn,
Yes.
what breakfast cereal did you love when you were a kid?
Oh, sugar pop. Let's see. I think it was of course we got cornflakes, but not sugar, but not sugar
Sugar
cornflakes,
snap. Was
but
it
sugar snaps. Sugar snaps. Smacks.
Smack?
Sugar
Sugar
Smacks.
smacks.
Yes.
Sugar
That
Smacks
was my
had a
favorite.
frog. Sugar Smacks had
Yes.
the frog on front,
That's
and then
it.
there was another
That's
one
it.
that had a bear.
But we
Frog.
didn't get to have it a lot but that was my favorite.
Yeah, that's Papa Jim's favorite.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one then.
Yeah, and you have the same one.
Well, I agree with Lynn. And then I liked anything that was chocolatey, like Count Chocula,
Cocoa. Mhm.
Cocoa Puffs. I think that was probably more like when my kids were little. Then it was like
Right.
they came up with these better sugary things. But yeah, Sugar Smacks. I like Sugar Smacks.
Mhm.
I
I
agree
haven't
with the
had.
chocolate one because then it's like a twofer.
Yeah.
Like
know.
you
Do
get the
you know
cereal
what
and then you get chocolate milk when you're done.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I was at the Dollar Tree today and they had I think it was Hershey's chocolate cereal. It must have been just like a one-off, you know what I mean?
Right.
How the
Mhm.
Dollar Tree gets a lot of one-off stuff. And it looked good. And it was in the shape of hearts.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I can't eat that stuff anymore. But it was like,
Right.
oh.
Yeah. I can't
But
either.
you know what I found something, I'll show it another time. Has to do with chocolate, but
Okay.
anything chocolatey.
Alicia,
Yes.
Grayson, the girlie says she was offered first class tickets for that mother lode cake.
I would have taken the first class tickets.
No.
Hello, Grace and Fire.
It's like
Yeah.
put me up in the front and serve me champagne
Oh
and
yeah,
the warm
Yeah.
towels, all that. I would have done that. I would have done
absolutely.
that.
I'm there.
I think my favorite cereal growing up was I loved Lucky Charms because I loved
Yeah.
collecting all of the little different shaped marshmallows.
Yeah.
But then as I matured a little bit, I loved a bowl of wheat checks with a crust of sugar and bananas. And we wonder why I'm diabetic now.
Wheat checks are good.
Wheat checks are so
Yes.
good.
And shredded wheat with the sugar on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one.
Yes.
That one's good.
The plain sugar or the plain shredded wheat.
No,
No,
not so
this
much.
one's a little bit. They'd be a little smaller like this, and
Yeah.
it was all sugar. Then they came out with a little bite size.
Yes.
Even better. Even better.
Okay, ladies, your next question. Because I know what your answers are going to be, and I want to stretch this a little bit.
Okay.
Besides the Bible, if you were to give a friend that you love one book, what
Mm.
would that book be?
Oh my goodness.
Because your friends can be your Valentines too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Book. Mm.
I will say, hmm,
She's looking at her bookshelf. She's like,
I
I
am.
did.
I am
And I have
too.
more down.
But I have a series that I like, and if I had money, I
Oh
would
yeah.
buy. I
Oh,
have a
oh.
series, and there's
It's
28 or 29 books. I'm
is
not
it the
sure.
same one I have that I
No,
Jeanette Oakley books?
no, you have.
oh, my
She loves
mother's favorite author was Jeanette Oakley.
It'd be
right.
Jeanette
And
Oakley
think,
books.
which book of Jeanette's would you give though?
Well,
Because
I
mm,
have the trilogy. I have you can
Love
get the
Comes
individual.
Softly.
Yes.
yes,
It's a
yes,
trilogy. It's the condensed, like it's a trilogy, and it's
uh-huh,
one book, and that you get 3 stories in one. But then you can buy the individual, yeah,
yes,
Love Comes
yeah,
Softly and all those. Those are
Yes.
the most romantic,
My
yes.
mother
lovely
loved those books.
Sweet,
books and
sweet.
sweet
They're
books.
sweet.
And I mean, so if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, it's about they're stories about women. This is back what in the 1800s
1800s.
and up in like Calgary, Canada, and way up in there, and it's like love stories about the life of a lady and a young girl. She leaves her family like out east wherever, and she travels up to Canada and she meets like a
Well, that's the
mounted
mountain ones,
the
right?
mounted red police or
That's mountain,
mounted
but there's
what
different
are
ones.
they, mounties, the
Uh-huh.
mounties. And then I mean, and then it goes on with her life. It's different stories, but that one I'm just thinking of, she goes up there and he's a mountie and he leaves her like, and she's in there with the Indians. And I mean, it's wild. They're just
Right.
and they're heartbreaking
Doesn't
and
it
they
start where she's like in a wagon train and her husband, she's young, she's just
Yes.
freshly married and her husband is killed in
Yes.
a tragic accident.
Now,
And
Anne, you're
this
talking about the Mountie series, but we're talking about a
the
series that is
original series.
American West.
Yeah, I was thinking like Montana or Wyoming or
Yeah,
something
love
like that.
Oh,
comes
I
off.
like the Canadian ones. That
You like
series
the
is the one
Canadian.
that,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the ones that really tugged at your heartstrings.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're all
Now,
good. They're all good.
uh, I don't know if you
I
can
can't.
see this.
Oh my goodness.
This is a series. This is a series, and it's called Mystery and the Minister's Wife. And
Oh,
I like mysteries. Guidepost kind of oversaw this, but it was written by several artists. Goodness,
I
authors.
almost said the same thing earlier. I really did.
And so, if I had, if I could really bless someone, I think I would bless them with this entire 27 books. Um, I couldn't put them down. I'd read till 3 in the morning.
Oh
I
That's
wow.
could
how all
not.
those books are.
Yeah, and I think any of those. I think Jeanette Oak or Okie. All
Oak,
those. Yes,
Jeanette
yes,
Oak. Oh, yeah.
Oak. And
OKE.
right, and of course, I like the mystery and the minister's wife because I'm a mystery person. So
Nice.
Here's
I've
what it
written.
says about, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Here's what it says about Jeanette Oak. If anybody's looking for a great books, she's a Canadian author of inspirational fiction. Her books are often set in a pioneer era and centered on female. Uh,
Yes.
and it says her, and then so Love Comes Softly was her first one, and that's the one I started with, and
Mhm.
they're great. Yeah,
Right.
you
Very,
just
very touching and very, very real. And I wonder, I think my
and
mom almost related to that so well because of
Yes.
my story about, my mother was expecting me and the biological father freaked out. So she didn't have that man. And here this older man
Yes.
stepped in and said, I think you should marry me and I'll take care of the baby. And my mother grew to love him.
Oh.
But that love came softly. It took a while.
Yes.
She had to learn to trust him.
Yes.
So I
And
think
that's
that's why
what.
she related.
Wow. And that is just what the main character had to do there. She
Mm-hmm.
just it just kind of came to her one day that I love him. I love this man. But it, like
Yeah.
you say, it was just very soft.
And it was not that she didn't love her first husband, she did, but when
Oh,
she finally accepted the that she loved this other man, it was a deeper love.
yes.
It was a mature love. It was just
Yes, it
really,
was
it's very beautifully done. Very beautifully
this.
done.
So
I'm gonna agree with your choices,
thank
ladies.
you. Thank you.
I think that was great. Um, okay, Lynn,
Yes.
what artist do you absolutely love? Not music, but I'm talking like paintings, sculptures,
Now
something refined, if you
say
will.
say tiffs.
Huh?
Okay, Ann, do you know what tiff is? We I don't,
Educate us.
huh?
What?
What?
Huh?
What? Repeat that question.
We're all just like, what? What?
Huh? Like, what artist do you absolutely love?
Oh,
Like, if I was
artist.
to take you to a museum right now, you'd say, I have to go see the
Oh,
work of this person because I love them so
okay.
much.
Okay. You said artist. I just heard tist.
Oh.
And I'm like,
And see, I thought you kept saying tits. I'm like, what is she going for?
I'm
Like,
going,
Venus?
I'm going, this must be something new.
Michelangelo?
It must be like a expression, LOL or something. What's a tiff? I
And
don't
I'm,
know.
I'm going to recover from what I just said by saying a titmouse is a beautiful bird.
That is correct.
No,
Mhm.
artist, my famous painter.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, Major, you better stay. He was going to the pub. You better listen. Actually, I have not I have not followed artist like I should have. That's the truth. I am sorry. I admit it. Um, when I was growing up, we had the Blue Boy and we had different, those type things. And I'm trying to think. I know I have been in museums, art museums. I know I have been because I've been in New York and I've been in the Smithsonian. So I
Hmm.
know that, but to say I have a favorite artist, um, isn't it Monet that has very soft paintings? The
Very
very,
soft
yes,
pastels. They
yes,
look
and
beautiful.
yes, and I think that's I like softness. I guess I would be more into something like that as opposed to what is it, impressionist and other different. I guess Monet would be my favorite.
Lovely. And
Well, as what Lynn said, I'd have to reiterate. Yeah, I guess we're art illiterate, but so I would say like soft paintings like that too.
Uh-huh.
But it's weird because objects don't really impress me. I mean, it's nice to have nice things, but they don't impress me. But I was in and Lynn was, I don't know if you were with me, and there's an antique store here in town, and
Yes,
went in there, and there's this little tiny picture, and it is just of a flower bouquet,
yes,
but it's just so pretty, just the way it was framed, and and it's just the way that it was painted, and I mean it was just beautiful. And when I saw it, I was coming up this that was like you went upstairs and there was more stuff upstairs, and I went up there and it was just sitting there all by itself, just this little picture. And it didn't cost very much. It was like 20 bucks, I think. And I just kept looking at it, and nah, well, so then I didn't buy it. And then I went up there again another time, and that little silly pilly painting was still right there where I'd seen it with Lynn, and I didn't buy it. And the third time I went back, it was still there, and I just it caught my eye. So I don't know, things. I don't know. I just and that's I had it back here, um, and
so you
until
bought it.
just I went
she
and I bought it. Yeah, and I
Good.
and that's the one that I couldn't find. So at Christmas, you put all your stuff away, and
uh-huh.
I had it on this one wall by our front door, and I wanted to put this Christmas picture there. So I took that picture down, and I thought I'm going to put it someplace really safe, where I won't forget where it's at. Well, I totally blanked out, didn't know where it was until this one day our TV didn't work, and I had to go right up to it and turn it on, and it just caught my eye, like right here in the china cabinet in the back of it was that little silly painting. I'd
Mhm.
put it up there to keep it safe, so it was safe. So, but I don't know things, you know. I mean, I've been like with Lynn. We've been to a lot of museums,
Mhm.
um, all different kinds of museums, and seen a lot of stuff.
Right.
Stuff I don't know,
It's
you
like you
know.
know it when something speaks to you.
When it speaks,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
that silly little painting, it spoke to me, and so, and apparently it had been, it on the backside of it, they wanted more. It was like a little tag on there where it originally had been bought, so it was
Mhm.
cost more, but I just thought, well, that's cool, I'm getting a good deal.
Yeah.
But
Right.
maybe it's a famous painter, I don't know, but
Yeah.
things have to really speak to me, and I don't
Mhm.
I
know, art.
too grew up culturally illiterate. I didn't grow up with the arts so much, but
Yeah.
I started working for a creative arts academy, and the entire curriculum for these middle schoolers that we had 35 middle schoolers, the entire curriculum was based around the arts.
Wow.
Oh,
And so we had different paintings that we put up in this little charter school that we had. And I remember the
Oh.
first time I saw a work by Salvador Dali, I thought,
oh yeah,
I like that. It was just so unique. And it was the
yeah,
elephants and swans.
yes,
And so for those of you who haven't seen it, it's these dead trees and they're in the silhouette of elephants, but then the reflection in the water, they're beautiful swans. And it just reminded me that things aren't always what they seem on the surface. Sometimes you have to look at it from a different perspective
It's
right.
true.
because
It's
the
true.
elephants they're gaunt looking and scary, but as the reflection in the water, they're beautiful. And I learned a little bit about Salvador Dali, and like every painting has a red handkerchief hidden in there somewhere. That's kind of his signature
Oh,
thing. And
that's
in
cool.
some of them, he paints
Mhm.
himself in the actual painting. And he's the one, for those of you who don't know, he's the one that has that painting of all those melting clocks. The clocks are just melting
Ah.
everywhere. But if you were to say what exhibit would you want to see right now, I'd love to go see the Vincent van Gogh exhibit where like the whole room lights up like Starry Starry Night
Oh
and
yes,
it
yes,
moves. I
right.
want to see that. I need to add that to
Your
my list of things to
uh-huh,
do.
bucket list.
My bucket list. I think that would be a lot of fun. Okay. Um, If you could meet any historical figure, who would you love? We're sticking with the love theme. Who would you love to meet that was a historical figure?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, of course, we can say like, we know who we'd like to meet, of
Mhm.
course. Um, but I'm going to just talk historically, U.S. history for a moment. Okay.
Perfectly fine.
I think if I could have known Abraham Lincoln, I mean, known him, known,
Mhm.
had a real, relationship
Like
with him,
sit down and have lunch with them and get to know them as a
or
person.
to be even a confidant. I mean,
Ooh,
to know
yes.
him. I think he's, you know, the things that were, such unrest, obviously, and the things that he stood for and believed in, and I guess I've always been, kind of as far as people. And I'll be honest, there are just average people. I mean, there are just average people that I would like to have known.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe they didn't stand out. I mean, there are just average people. I mean,
Historical in their own right.
yes. Or how about this? I've always said this, and as I got older, um, I believe we have a timeline on the earth. Each one of us, we know that we were born, and then there's a timeline, and how blessed we are that our timelines overlap with one another,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's for a short time. I did not know our grandmother, and yet she passed away when I was about 3, and yet I spent time with her. She had me, I was at her house my, I'm from what our mom says, and so she loved me. She truly loved me, and she had time with me, and I can't remember time with her.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's even family members that I am so thankful that, our we have aunts and uncles who are just absolutely precious. We have family that grandparents and great grandparents we have that I would love to have known. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean I believe I will, but I think as older I get, I appreciate the time that we had with our families. But Ann and I no longer have any aunts or uncles or things. We just don't. We've grown old enough now that they've gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think Abraham Lincoln has always fascinated me.
Yes. What about you, Anne?
Well, this is a very hard question, and I have sat here the
Yeah.
whole time trying to think of. Um, I was really thinking kind of like what you were saying. I would have liked to have met, like my grandmother,
Mhm.
grandparents, people are people that and when I like what you said, Lynn, because it is kind of interesting how we're on a timeline and, like and our lives do overlap and people come and people go, and so I think I would have liked to have met some of our relatives. I think, but and Abraham Lincoln, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's Daniel Boone, there's Squire Boone. I mean, there's just historical people that I think would be neat to have known.
Oh yeah, I think about especially where we live now, and you think about what it was like, say, 1800s, early 1800s, 1700s even,
Right.
when it was just raw open land, and they were Lewis and Clark,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
were going across the country, and all those people that forged this country to be what it is, you know what I mean? And I there's a lot of that I would like to have, like, if I could just go back for a day, I'd like to be like in the Wild West, I guess, and be, just a pioneer woman on the wild, but just to see that. I don't want to live that life.
Yeah.
Right? Just want a glimpse.
I I'm too
And I think
delicate for that life now.
right.
But just to be there and just to be able, I mean, I wish I wish we could time travel and just, pop into these places
Yeah.
and just be a witness and just sit, not
Yeah.
interact, but just be there and just be able to sit and watch it all unfold to the point of where we are today. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
with history, we could do that by reading books and seeing, the videos and the movies, and what I'm saying, and going to that kind of stuff. We can, but actually to be there, I think that'd be cool.
And
As
and
soon
I
as
want
we
to
see
say,
the
of
chat
course,
moving, I just want to tell people in the chat to remember that we're not paying attention to the chat because we're paying attention to the interview. So I don't want to have anybody feel left out.
oh
And
no, please
Berlin,
don't. I was just going to say, of course, as a Christian, of course, I'd like to have walked. When I mean, I've been blessed to walk in the steps of where Jesus walked by going to Israel and actually walking on steps that he walked, and being in the locations and things. And so I want to say that goes without,
Yeah, that's a
we don't,
given. I'd
but we
like to
don't
have
know.
met
We
Jesus, but
don't know how we would have reacted either at that time.
that's
Let's face
true.
it.
it's very
I
true.
mean,
Yeah.
that's, you know what I'm saying?
You ladies were talking about time overlapping.
Yes,
And the way
yes,
I like to think of it is a way that it was presented to me before is, life for us is just a big train ride. And we're all riding this train and
yeah,
we ride on the train for a while with our parents, but at some point there's a train stop and our parents have to say, this is my
Goodbye.
stop. This is where I get off. But somebody else gets on and they'll sit next to you on the train and start up a conversation or a relationship. And
yeah,
eventually, as the train's going, at some point you're going to have to stand up and say, well, this is where I get off.
yes,
And
That's a
you get
great
off the train and
analogy.
the train keeps going. It doesn't go on forever. There are all these different train stops along the way.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
especially like when I think of my mom, I just have to think of it
yeah.
that, she just got off at the train stop a little sooner than I did, but she brought me onto the train
Right.
and now I'm
Absolutely.
doing my own
That's
little
cool.
ride.
Yeah,
So
that's cool. I like that.
I love
Uh,
that too. What is a movie you've been looking forward to watching? when we get back out into the real world after all of this weird cinnamon vanilla stuff. Cheers.
Okay, you want me to go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I do believe that I'm going to travel about 3 hours up to where my daughter-in-laws and granddaughter live. And we are going to go and we're going to sit in the theater and we're going to watch Downton Abbey, the next number two.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Yes, Downton
Yeah.
Abbey. And I would like to see as soon as I can, since I can't go out this week,
Darn it.
next week, I'd like to see. I am a big Agatha Christie person.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to think of Agatha Christie. I wouldn't really probably give her someone a book of hers because a little bit, when you said that, I was thinking Agatha Christie. No. But there's a new Hercule movie coming out, and I've seen the original on PBS. But now it's a movie made for the show, and so I want to see that maybe next week. Just because I like Hercule and
Nice.
Poirot, and so,
And
but Downton Abbey.
Yeah,
I
Downton
love it.
Abbey. But then there is a movie coming out, and I'm trying to look it up. I can't remember what it was. There's a movie coming out, and I was like, yes, we gotta go see that.
Well, I will share with you mine, and maybe it will jar your memory.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I've never seen the original. I know, gasp. But I want to see the new West Side Story.
Oh, you need to see
Oh,
the
really?
Well, I
Oh,
want to see the original, but I can't seem to find it anywhere on, because we don't
Right.
have
You've never
regular
seen
TV.
it?
I've never
You have
seen
never
it.
seen it?
No.
Wow.
But I want to
Wow.
see. I want to see the original with Natalie Wood, but I also
Yeah.
want to see the new one that I think Steven Spielberg is producing. I think
Uh-huh.
so. I'd like to see that.
Let me see if West Side. Let me see if anybody, well, sometimes on YouTube you can find certain
I
things.
can
I don't
find
know.
pieces of it, or you
Yes,
can
I
rent
started saying
it. I'm
just
just trying
pieces
to.
of
Boy,
it.
it
Yeah,
used to be on like TV all the
all
time.
the time.
Yeah, but I don't have TV.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
You
I
don't.
don't have satellite or cable TV at all.
okay.
Okay.
So it's, can I pull it up on Netflix? Can I pull it up on Hulu? Or,
Right.
and I haven't been able to find it. So
No,
that's all right. I will find it.
you will.
Yeah, I'm just looking here real quick too, trying to see. I do not do scary. I don't do. There's like a new Scream coming out.
No,
I'm
no, no,
not. I'm
no.
not into those.
No.
Huh? I don't do those.
I'm
I
still
don't.
traumatized by some of the horror movies that I went to just because it was the only thing playing at the drive-in and it was date
Right.
night.
Oh.
6 more days till Halloween. Halloween.
Oh, what was that from?
Silver Shamrock. It was from one of the Halloween movies.
Yeah, I started to say it's Halloween
Oh,
1, 2, 3, or whatever.
No,
Doesn't.
it was one of the first ones, but some of those scenes are still
Yep.
ingrained in my brain, and they
Movies,
mess with me.
they're potent, aren't they?
Mhm.
What you see on a large screen in a dark room still stays. Let me just think. I've probably seen some movies, seriously, when 50 years ago, 55. Wow.
I saw her winding up.
that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're
well,
still with me 55 years ago, 60 years ago, 65 years ago. Mhm.
I remember
I mean,
going to the drive-in with my parents when I was little, and we saw the people under the stairs.
Oh,
I still don't like going down in my basement at this old farmhouse. I don't like going down. I don't
yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
I don't
I know
remember the
something's
name
gonna
of
get
the.
me.
There was a show on TV, and Lynn, you might remember that we used to watch, and there was the one where there was the little statue. It was like a trilogy, and it was on like it was a long time ago, but there was like a little statue of a little tiki guy with a
Yep.
spear.
Well, it was either like Twilight Zone or One Step Beyond or one of
Maybe
those.
it was One Step Beyond, but
Uh,
it was I
they were
still
scary.
remember those. Then there was like one of those, like whichever it was. It's probably One Step Beyond, and there was a um like an air intake, and it was in like in the wall, and it was like a thing like this. It was the vent, where they air. And but
We're little
if you took
people
that
back then.
off, then there was like a little creepy things that live
Yeah,
down in
Yep, I
there.
lived in there. Yep.
Yeah, and they would come out at night and stuff.
yeah.
So those
And they would
things, and I
climb the
just,
staircase,
huh?
and they would climb the stairs
I
on the
don't
outside of
remember,
the
but
banister.
it was just, I'm just like, so,
Well, anyway, we got away from romance, but since we're on scary, I'll just say I recommend anyone should see Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
yes.
I
like
mean, that one,
that one is, that is not like
it's not like,
no, no,
Right.
not
It's
like
not
no,
that
like
one.
the
no.
Psycho one, but twice a year we have the migration of the starlings here at the farm, and
Oh,
they all come here to the farm and they stay about 24 hours. Thousands of
yep,
starlings,
yep.
thousands of them. And
Well, then you
going out to the car, you think about the birds.
you need
I
to watch it, and then you really stay in the house.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it. The very first date that my dad that married my mom,
Mhm.
that my dad took my mother on, was to an Alfred Hitchcock movie, and it was The Rear Window.
Yes, yes.
And she said there was a scene where somebody was shoving somebody in an oven to dispatch them. And she goes, this man just sat here and laughed and laughed. And she's like, what am I getting myself into? I'm marrying this man who thinks that an Alfred Hitchcock movie is hysterical. She goes, he's psychotic. And yet they were together. They were together 43 years.
Oh.
Um, besides water, ladies, what is a drink you absolutely love?
oh, easy. Coffee.
Well, I like I like Coca-Cola.
Nice. I love a good Midori colada. I love a good lemonade on a hot summer day.
Oh.
Oh, I'm going to have to figure out how to do that now that I can't have all the lemonades that I used to have. I love a good lemonade with a raspberry puree.
Oh,
I like peach too.
Oh,
Raspberry.
just you
yes.
can do your lemonade. Just do the Truvia sugar. Just do an
Well, I
alternate.
will. I'm used to buying like the Minute Maid and then just
Yes.
making it. I'll have to do it from scratch now.
Well, you can
There
buy. You can
Oh,
buy it.
that's
there
true.
was a 15, now I don't know what it's made with, but 15-calorie lemonade at Walmart. In a There was that, and it was good. I liked it. You don't see it a lot anymore.
I'll have
Those
to look into that.
15-calorie things at Walmart
Oh, you
carried.
can
Yeah.
get the little packets for your water bottles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
but
have
that's
those
not the
quite a
same.
bit. It's not the
Not the
same.
same.
It's
Fresh
not
is
the same
best. Oh,
sitting
I,
out on the porch on a summer
now
day.
iced
Yeah.
You've
tea in the
mowed the
summertime.
lawn and you've broken a sweat and you just want to have a big tall glass of lemonade.
Yes.
I
I
really
would have
think
to.
that's one
I
reason my A1C was so high this last time, because I drank so much lemonade this summer.
Oh,
oh
Yeah. Like,
I like unsweet iced tea from McDonald's, and then I go put in like 3 Splendas, please. That
yeah.
is so good. McDonald's iced tea is good.
I love a good
Usually,
iced tea. I love a good mint iced tea.
yeah, I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
do the
If you can get them
flavors.
just right, if you get somebody who knows what they're doing, like at a nice little sandwich pub or something where they brew their own iced tea and it's just a really nice mint iced tea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yes, I like
Ladies,
flavors. Mhm.
what is your favorite cake flavor that you love? All about the love.
The love again is got for me. It's going to be chocolate cake with thick chocolate icing, and maybe some strawberries on top. Or I
Ooh,
like strawberry shortcake. I like that too. But
Mm.
again, chocolate's number one.
Yep,
yes.
chocolate number 1 and lemon bars number 2. I love
Lemon
lemon.
bars are good.
I
Mm.
love a good homemade, moist and delicious and yummy piece of carrot cake.
Oh, yes.
If it's done just so, and I'm not
Yes.
talking out of the regular
No.
old bakery or something out of a
Right.
box. It's got to be the good carrot cake with the raisins and that really
Have,
good cream cheese frosting. I'm getting hungry.
Do you
Oh
put
yeah.
pineapple? You like pineapple in your carrot cake?
Well, if you do that, that's called hummingbird
That's a
cake.
hummingbird
Oh,
cake.
that's more. Okay,
That's
see,
hummingbird with the
I cannot
walnuts.
have nuts anymore, which
Mm.
I cannot have nuts.
Oh,
So
nuts.
Hummingbird
nuts,
cake. Yes.
nuts.
Nuts. I wanted to make a hummingbird cake this year too. Papa Jim got me this really neat little turntable with all of the frosting stuff to make all
Oh
the
yes.
decorative stuff. It's in the pantry now. I know
Oh
I will eventually get to where I'm going to be making some really low carb, lovely,
Ye-
lovely treats.
Yes.
absolutely, you will.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I will someday. Let's see.
Oh,
I'm just kind of like I can't really make a lot of these Valentine's questions. And
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and
Mhm.
what is one thing you just really love about your sister?
oh,
Aw. Well,
We're going to finish up with this question.
okay.
okay. Well, Lynn has, anytime I've ever needed anything, she's always been right there. I know that I can count on her. And I have had to through the years. I've called on her and I can still do that now. And I can get kind of firm with her. I mean, I can get mad at her and she can get mad at me and it doesn't last anymore. And we had a strong conversation this morning, but only I was venting because I get concerned for her, and so sometimes I get kind of mean, I think, and I don't really mean to, but it's like I'm concerned, you know what I mean? So you have that kind of like, but I'm concerned about you,
Your
please,
tough
please.
love.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough. Yes, and I've been more that way with her. She's just kind of okay, whatever, she's, and she's all no matter what I do to her, she's always there. No matter what happens, she's always been there.
Um, actually, I have a I before Anne left for New York, she wrote me a letter because she wanted me to have it to be able to look at it and its instructions. And
Oh, I forgot about that.
right, she wrote me instructions concerning an area of our lives, and I have it in my drawer because I need to be reminded of what she's told me. So her wisdom and her advice are always sound, and there because there's it might not sound like a big deal, but when you have 5 years difference in your age, when like she said when we were young, I'm 17 and she's 12, and our brother is 7. That's a big age difference
It
between
is.
12 and 17, and you don't have a lot in common. You love each other. I mean, my goodness, we're family. We would fight for one another, but we don't have a lot in common. And then, when we both graduated, I graduated and did things, and then she graduated and was married shortly thereafter, and then she had her first daughter, while I am still single, and and so I still did not have a lot in common with her. When she called to
Mhm.
tell me, and she wanted to tell me all the experience, because that's what you want to do. You want to talk about labor and different things, and
All the nitty gritty.
all that she
Guess what
wanted to
happened
talk
to me?
nitty-gritty,
Yeah.
because that's what you do.
Somebody pooped in the potty.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
real.
Right.
yeah. Did you
And
know
so
this happens to your body now?
right, and it's like, I don't want to la 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 la. I don't want to hear it. I'm not even thinking of I'm still I'm not thinking of having, getting married, let alone having children. And so then of course, I marry and have our, and then we have our children. And then we start there. That's where our camaraderie around our families and our husbands and our children and but we've really grown very, very close within the last, what would you say, Anne? I mean, to where it's you have my back any minute. You have my back, and I have your back.
Probably better in the last 5 years.
Yes. But we've grown
Um,
into it. We've grown, Alicia, into it.
well,
Love comes
for
softly.
Yes.
many years, we didn't live when we
No,
were adults and raising our kids and stuff, because my husband was in the army, so
from
we were
coast to
never,
coast. Right.
yeah, coast to coast, and then they were we were coast to coast. And at
Mhm.
one time, I mean, I was in Hawaii, and we were scattered, all of us, and our mom and dad, they moved, and so we were just everywhere. So we weren't really close proximity
Right.
until in
5
about the middle
years.
80s, about the mid 80s.
Yes.
We all ended up in the same place
Location.
and had been there up until about 2012,
Mm.
Mhm.
when when my husband came home and, like, well, I think I'm gonna take this other job, and we're gonna sell the house, and you'll have to quit your job, and we're gonna move. And I'm like, and so ever since then we've been on the move. But one of our moves was back home again, and I think that's when we probably got real close. And then,
3 years ago. Mhm.
five buff well,
Well, I mean, 3 years ago, we started AnnLynn, and we've been
yes,
together every day almost since for
right.
3
Oh,
years.
Yeah, and
But,
I mean, and then, and everything was good for a long time. Then we had the big
mhm,
happening a couple years ago, and it went down south, and so here we are. So
right.
now I'm up in upstate New York. So, anywho,
But social media is, in this
yes,
case, truly social. It's keeping you connected.
it
absolutely,
has.
absolutely.
It,
I'm so thankful.
oh, like when I was, let's see. So I graduated high school at 17, of course, was in love and was going to get married, and we got married. I graduated in June, the following March got married, and then, like, another, I don't know, year and so many months later, I was lonely because I was 18, and I was married and living, and what, 3 or 4 or 5,000 miles away from my family. 6,000, I guess, is what it was. And you're lonely and you're stupid, and so I'm thinking I'm gonna have a baby, and did. And anyhow, so, boy, I forgot the point of what I
Where
was
you're going
saying.
with it.
Yeah, where was I going with this? But for a lot of years, we lived apart, and like Lynn said, we didn't. What was the question? I'm My mind is wandering.
You were just sharing about your relationship with
Mhm.
Lynn.
Yeah,
Yes.
How
so I mean,
it's
like,
ebbed and flowed, I think, mostly
she
because of
didn't
who
want to
you
know.
are.
Yeah, she didn't want to know about all that,
Mm-mm.
and but it's funny how life brings you back together. So we ended up back together, and now we're apart. Oh, I know what my point was. So back then, when I was 18 and living all that way away from my family, there was no social media.
No.
You
Right.
had letters. You wrote
Yeah.
letters. It cost about $30 for me to make one phone call
Yes.
from
Yes.
Hawaii to the States and talk about 10 minutes. That was $30. That
Yes.
was so expensive. So I
Yes.
only was able to do that maybe once a month. But our social media was writing handwritten letters. And
Mm-hmm.
then when the tape recorders come out and you had the little reel to reels or the little cassettes,
The tiny, tiny little one.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got a tape recorder. My parents got a tape recorder, and I would talk. And we would talk, and I would talk about, oh, the baby's doing this, mom, and she's doing that. I wish you could see her. And then we would send tapes back and forth so we could hear our voices
Right.
for like 3 years. Now I was able to go home, and they were able to come over, but for all those months in between, in between, and a year, I know, at one span of not, being able to really communicate with my family was horrible. Now I can see Lynn. She can go to the nursing home, and I can see my mom. I
Right. And
wish,
talk. Yeah.
we can talk and stuff. I mean, social media and the internet has really, it it's improved our lives quite a bit, and it's also been a bad thing. So I mean, it's a two-edged sword.
It
But
is. And
it,
that's something that Lynn and I were discussing when you were off camera
Yes.
earlier.
Yes.
I created a big, huge, major faux pas that I'm not going to mention, but I
Right.
did a major faux pas recently. And thankfully, I have friends here in this social media world that when I say something, they're like, you might want to think about that. So I have on my bucket list, I have
Okay.
always wanted to go up here to the frozen lake. We're going to the frozen lake next Saturday for this big, beautiful kite festival. You go out onto the frozen lake, kites that are over 100 feet long that cost thousands of dollars. It's beautiful. So we're going to go Saturday. And I thought this year is the year that I'm going to trek on over across the frozen tundra lake there, and I'm going to go to where they ice fish, where they
Oh,
have all the little shanties set up,
yes.
like what
Yes.
they do in Grumpy Old Men. Because I want
I
to
Yes.
know
love
what
those
it's like.
movies.
I want to know
Yeah.
what it's like in there. I want to sit in there with their little fire going and have cocoa and,
Yes.
but I
Yes.
don't know anybody that has an ice shanty. So I was sharing with my friend, I said, I think this is the year I'm just going to walk on up to somebody and just like, hi,
Yeah.
can you come into your ice shanty? And I want to record it for a YouTube video. And um,
Oh,
I,
that'd be
I
great.
don't want to fish. I don't want to hurt anything. So I thought I'll just take video of me just like with a pole with a line and in the ice hole there and just, and then
Yes.
I'll go on my merry way. And she says, yeah, you heard what happened with that mayor in Ohio, right? And I said, no. She goes, oh, well, you need to read this before you do that.
Really.
So she sends me this article that there's a mayor in Ohio that he is really against allowing ice shanties on this lake in their community because he's worried that it's going to open the door to prostitution.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
She says now, and every
Good
ice
grief.
fisherman's probably heard about this now because her husband's an ice fisherman. And
yeah.
Good
she
grief.
says, yeah, can you see you just walking up to a bunch of men going, can I come on into you? I don't really want to
Oh.
fish.
Oh,
I
see,
don't
I
want
didn't
to
even
fish.
make that connection.
I just want to put your pole in that hole and videotape it. And then when the game warden shows up and knocks on your ice shanty and says, what's going on in there? And I could say, I'm ice fishing. He's going to say, ma'am, you don't even have a hook on that line. You can explain it to the judge on Monday.
Oh my god. See, that never crossed my mind. Did
It
it
didn't
yours?
cross my mind either. I
mean,
just wanted to go be like
what?
grumpy old men.
You know, I hate the things that used to mean this now mean this.
Yes. We were talking
if-
earlier.
We
And
were talking about that.
Yeah.
and how are we supposed to know that? And like I know
To me,
like
it's
the
completely
youngers.
innocent.
I know
do things all
youngers
the
think
time. All the
I
time
know
that I think are just completely innocent. And people are like, probably shouldn't do that.
I know.
So I guess you just have to have a disclosure somewhere. I'm a little bit ignorant, and I don't know,
Here's your
you know,
sign.
here's your. I mean, I'm a little bit, yeah. I mean, naive, and I
Hey, you
find
know what? I say kudos to any fisherman that's in that element that can do what they think he's going to do
Right.
in the
Right.
ice. More power to you if you can.
Well, I
'Cause
was going to say, you know what I have that I could send to you? I have one of these pop-up changing rooms. I had it.
just drag it out on the ice and sit
Oh, it's
there.
not. It's not. It's only it folds flat. You know what I mean? It's just flat. It just pops
Pop
up,
it up.
and we used it for
Changing
getting in
room.
the water
Yeah.
and changing
Right.
outside, so you don't have to go in the house and change your clothes. But yeah, or it's for a potty. It's for camping potty too. So
Right.
you take it camping with you. But I was like, you could just take that thing and.
Well, and I'm gonna see that
Bless
last
you.
little nip for the fisherman got me. Excuse me. In addition to this, I was going to take our mascot with us, which is the wiener dog, because we're
Yes.
having a contest for Name That Weenie. So, I could just see a game warden listening to me talking about, somebody about my weenie.
Yep.
And
So just say, can I come in your shanty with my little wiener?
can I bring my weenie into your shanty and
Oh
put your pole in
goodness.
that hole? And, it would be like Three's Company, completely innocent.
Yes.
But to the Mr. Furley game warden, it would be horrible.
And so we've all got to think of a name for her little wiener. Do you have it with you?
I don't. I have
Okay.
the little wiener put up,
Oh, okay.
but I mean, I could grab my wiener.
Is it an autograph wiener?
It's not an autograph wiener. Okay, let me turn my camera off for a second. I will go grab my wiener.
Oh my
Oh gosh,
goodness.
Major said he's quite embarrassed now.
Yeah,
And let's see here.
I want to say hello to everybody. I know that
No.
Grayson Fire is still there,
Yes.
Major, and
Oils
Oil
and
and
well,
Wellness with Marsha. Yeah.
oh.
Cameraman. Hello,
They left.
camera.
They oils and wellness with Marsha had a live at 3 o'clock. So
Oh
they're
wow. And Wicked Awesome Gardening is here
yes,
was here. I don't know, but
yes,
Coupon Gale?
yes.
Oh,
Here's
that's
my
not
wiener.
that's a wiener
He's in a
dog.
hot
Oh,
dog
isn't
bun,
that cute?
ketchup and mustard.
Oh
And
wow.
so the reason we got this little guy is because Papa Jim and I were going to go on a murder mystery.
Oh
It's a
yes.
virtual murder mystery. And so our outfits are like barbecue aprons and chef hats. And so the name of our team is Recipe for Murder.
Oh,
We grill our
cool.
suspects low and slow. And I thought we need a mascot because
great.
you can bring a dog. I said we need a mascot, but I don't want to take one of these dogs because it'll be too hard on them. So we got a hot dog,
Oh,
and
and
I'm
you need
having
a
a little
name.
contest to name him. And
So
then
they need to watch the video, correct?
yeah, if you watch the video and comment in the video, then all of those names that get submitted will go into a poll on my community page, and then people can vote
Right.
for what they want to name this little thing.
Because
I
And
think
so this is
Papa
actually going
Jim
to be our canine unit. This
I
is our
think
canine
Papa
unit for
Jim.
our mystery.
Yeah.
there we
Papa
go.
Jim should wear them up here when you
Papa
go.
Jim wants to carry him around in one of those little barbecue things that are like
Oh
the
yeah.
squeezy
The
spatulas.
tongs? The
Yeah,
tongs?
I'm going to get him a collar though and a leash, and then all the
Oh,
different places we visit because he's going to go with us everywhere now. All the little
oh,
places we visit, I'll get little hat pins to put on his leash,
Yeah, that would be
okay.
cute.
and he's going to have his own following called Team Weenie Watch, and we're going to have a little thing where if people want to have this little wiener guy send them a postcard from the locations we go, he
Oh.
will send them a postcard, and something special is coming in the mail for that whole aspect of it. So we're just going to go on adventures again, and we're going to take our wiener with us, and the wiener's going to send postcards to the people who join Team Weenie Watch. I just think it sounds like a lot of fun.
It
It
does.
now, Major, you've got to submit that name. You've got to watch her video and submit that name over there because
Yeah.
he's already submitted a name, but he's got to go over there to your video and put it in there.
I do have to tell the major I won't be stabbing him with any pins. It will go in his leash. The little hat pins that say where he's been. But if we end up going to like Mount Rushmore or Mackinac Island or anything like that, he'll get all of
Right.
those little collections, and then he's going to send out postcards for people.
That's awesome. Oh,
You should record that. Just have
I
a
know.
recorder on all the time and try to catch that. Be a great
Here
ringtone.
comes another one. Oh,
Bless her heart.
she's old.
Bless her heart. You could make that into a ringtone. That'd be hilarious.
I could. So, but anyways,
it's
I
been
wanted to
so
share with
fun.
you about how all my shenanigans about possibly getting arrested for solicitation if I go out onto the lake next week.
We'll vouch for you.
I
We
think
might
based
not be able to bond you out.
based on what you two know about me and what people in the chat know about me,
Right.
I'm done for.
Oh, no. Now, I don't know if we have enough money to bond you out.
But you could go live on. You could go live on go live right on StreamYard. Go live, and she'd be like, "Ah!"
Look how that just my little birthday nips. What they
Yeah.
Oh,
do to
you
my
get
cheeks.
the red cheeks.
I'm nice and rosy. I'm nice and rosy.
Oh, yes. Coupon Gail said postcard from the Wiener Dog. Laugh out loud. Love it.
Oh,
If
I think
anybody
that would
wants
be
to
great.
do that, I'll have information too. on how to
Okay.
do that.
Wow.
It's just
Garden
almost
to
like a
table.
membership thing, but since I'm not monetized, it's not a membership thing.
Right.
But yeah, I've already had somebody in Washington State. They're covered for our next 6 excursions out that we take the little dog. They'll be getting postcards from wherever it is we go. So they're
Wow.
going to get a postcard this weekend from Clear Lake. Where we're going to be is right on the lakefront, right across the street from the surf ballroom.
Oh.
And Lynn knows what that reference is,
Yep.
I think. So the surf ballroom is where Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper last performed before their
Oh.
fateful crash. So
Oh.
that's that little city. So we'll be
Wow.
doing a video while we're up there at the lake. And then this individual who joined Team Weenie Watch, they're going to get a postcard from that area where Buddy Holly last was.
Wow.
And so it's for people who enjoy watching what we're going to be doing, and maybe they are not going to be able to go to these places. They can live
Right.
vicariously through my weenie.
Oh, that's
And
so
that's what my
cute.
dog thinks of that. But, not everybody's going to be able to make it to Mount Rushmore.
No,
So-
I might not ever be. Right.
They'll get a postcard from Mount Rushmore or Mackinac Island or wherever it is, Tennessee, wherever we end up going. Little whatever his or her name will be.
Right.
Oh, we don't know if, well, now,
We don't
Well, no,
know.
because it's in a bun.
well, shouldn't we know what the dog's, if it's a girl or a boy?
It's just up. It's up for
It's just a
suggestion.
dog.
Honey,
Poor baby. That's
whatever
Aw.
you got, hawk it up, honey. You poor
Aw.
thing.
Aw.
Try it again. I think what she does is she runs outside, and I think she might get a sticker in her fur, and then she
Oh.
cleans it up,
Oh.
and then she gets the sticker stuck in her. She does this all the time. Yeah, we don't know if it's a boy or a girl, although I have been leaning more towards calling it him.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't
Yes.
know,
I know.
but
A wiener dog, it just sounds like it'd be a
Yeah.
fellow.
Well, I mean, it could be anything it wants to be these days.
maybe I'll
No,
get.
I mean,
I'm going to
no,
behave myself.
Wiener dog sounds like a boy. I'm sorry.
He looks like a boy.
But
He looks like a
maybe
boy.
he identifies as a girl.
No, he's a
Maybe
boy.
He identifies as a hamburger.
Yeah, no, a hot dog. He's a hot dog.
But
He's
he
a hot dog.
identifies as a hamburger. Nobody would know.
There you
Now,
go.
cameraman, he says, let's see, let me think for a minute. I don't think that he likes mustard on his hot dog. So
Oh,
he
I
may
do.
go like, huh?
I want the works.
Me
Some
too.
men don't like mustard on their wieners.
What is it? A
That's
Chicago dog. Have you ever had a Chicago dog?
No, but
OMG.
Chicago's on our trip list.
Oh, they're
Oh
good.
well, you want then you want a Chicago dog and you want a the beef.
I'll have to find a vegetarian alternative.
Oh, yes.
shoot.
Well, they have it. I mean, well, they do have it. Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah, I'm sure I can get a
they're known
traditional
for the
Chicago dog in a veggie,
Absolutely.
a
Absolutely.
veggie weenie.
well a
I should name him
Chi- a
Veggie. You can be my
chi-
veggie weenie.
I can't even talk now. Chicago dog has it'll have a pickle. You can have a
Mhm.
pickle in it and tomato in slices in it, and then your onions and everything else.
And I've heard it's so big you can barely wrap your mouth around
Oh,
it.
there and they
Yeah.
maybe some sauerkraut, and I mean, and some
Oh, it's good.
pickle relish and
Oh.
onions. Oh my gosh! I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
cameraman says ketchup is a sin on a hot dog.
Okay, I thought it was mustard. Sorry, it is. It's
it's
ketchup.
ketchup.
He will not put ketchup on a hot dog. No.
Oh, ketchup, mustard.
We are nice,
Pickle
sweet ladies.
relish.
It's the innuendos. It's all in how you interpret it.
That's right.
We're not saying anything wrong. Just
Uh-uh.
depends on where your mind lives. If it weren't for the gutter, my mind would be homeless. So that's just me.
Oh, let me ask you. Is Cincinnati on your? I mean, does that even interest you?
It might. It's not on this list. What we did is we did like 2 full pages of places we want to go, and we narrowed it down to 5 that are within a certain area
Okay.
radius of where we live. Because
Okay.
for the first time out, we didn't want to venture too far because we don't know how much money we're going to save to do this.
Right.
You
That's
know, we
right.
spin a carnival wheel every week and then we shove
Oh,
money into the pinata and we're not even keeping track. We won't know
wow.
until we bust open the pinata how much money we have in there.
Woohoo.
So
That
every
is so cool.
Saturday we get together and Papa Jim stuffs my muffin, which is my cupcake pinata. We stuff money in there.
Ah,
And then
that's
we also
fun.
have a spinning wheel for 5 locations. So there's Mount
That's good.
Rushmore,
Okay.
Branson,
Yes.
Nashville, Tennessee,
Yes.
Chicago by train,
Oh,
Yes, that'd be
and
great.
amen.
Mackinac Island. So those are the 5.
That's the best
So
place.
every
That's
week
the best.
we spin that wheel, and wherever it lands, we write it on a Post-it note and we shove it in the cupcake.
Oh,
So there will be 26 entries of where we're going to go, and whichever one adds up to the most, that's where we're going.
oh, that's so
And we are
Oh,
not keeping track. So I don't know where we're going. I do know that at the moment, I know that Nashville, Tennessee, and Mount Rushmore are ahead.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
what the numbers are, I don't know, because we're only 7 weeks into this, and it's a 26-week budget
Yes.
saving thing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
one wheel is numbered 1 through 50, and whatever that lands on, we take that amount of money and we shove it in the cupcake.
so
And then
when
the other
is
one is 51 through 100, and whatever it lands on, we shove it in the cupcake.
Oh,
approximately
that's
when is your 26 weeks over?
It'll be the end of June.
Okay.
So
oh,
probably that first week in July is when we're going to take a baseball bat or something, that pinata, and
oh,
just bust it open, collect all the money, and count it in front of everybody to see how much
yes.
we have,
Yes.
and then
Wow.
tally up where we're going to go. And then that will give me time to then start planning.
Ah,
And, you know, if we end up in Tennessee, I have found a beautiful bed and breakfast on the Cumberland River where you
oh,
just wake up and sit up in bed, and then there's big picture window of the Cumberland River.
yes.
So, you know, there's different places I've been looking at. I already know if I'm going to Mackinac Island, I'm going to go
Mhm.
over on the pirate ship. You know, I
Oh,
want it to be unique and different. And this little wiener will go with us everywhere we go.
That's going to be
that's
so much fun.
that's fun. That is so fun.
So,
Absolutely.
and we've
Oh,
done this before with a stuffed animal. I actually kidnapped a coworker's teddy bear one time and
oh,
took it to San Francisco. And we just had fun. That dog was arrested on the streets of San Francisco, almost got ran over by a cable car, got thrown into a cell at Alcatraz. I mean, I just had so much fun with that bear.
oh. We did with our grandson and granddaughter. Yes. There is a book called Flat
Flat
oh,
Stanley.
yes, Stanley. And so yes, so they sent us their flat, character, and we cameraman and I took those everywhere that we could think up
Yeah.
to.
Well, you know what's
That
funny is
is so much fun.
I said that these postcards that we're going to be picking out to send people who are on Team Weenie Watchers, we just ordered a little stamp and ink pad, and it's a wiener dog in a hot dog bun.
Oh.
And
Oh,
so he's going to stamp his signature on every postcard and send it out. So I think it'll be fun. But you know what? When I kidnapped that bear from my coworker, it was so annoying. It was so annoying. This was the man who was in charge of like facilities and safety. And we
Yes.
would always have to do these safety meetings. And he
Mhm.
would
yeah.
bring this bear, this stuffed bear, a grown man would bring this bear to this meeting. And the bear's name was Mr. Grin and Bear It. Because if things weren't getting done at your facility, you just had to grin and bear it. And if something went wrong, he'd always say, blame my associate. And we would leave those meetings and I would just be fuming. It's like, I can't sit through one more meeting with that bear. I'm going to kidnap it. And then I thought, I'm going to kidnap it. So I kidnapped that bear and I did ransom notes, where you cut everything out of the magazines and paste it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
And he had his own Facebook page. He had ransom videos that were sent out. And we took him to a gold mining town on vacation. We took him to the zoo. We took him to San Francisco. He almost leapt to his demise off the Golden Gate Bridge. We did all those things. And on his Facebook page, there would be updates. I mean, we took him to a tattoo parlor, everything. And then when we had our big annual conference,
Mhm.
is when it's like I busted through the doors all sweaty and leaves in my hair going, I just came back from a worldwide trek to rescue your bear. And I made it look like I rescued the bear when really I was the one who kidnapped it. I never did get my ransom demands, though. I never did get them. But I found out later, and I did not know this at the time, but this man's wife had taken very, very ill. Very ill. She was in the hospital a lot. They weren't sure she was going to make it. She was very, very sick. And when he told me that, I said, oh, I'm so sorry I put you through all of this with the bear then when you were
Right.
going through this. And he said, no. Because that was my break from reality. That was my
Oh.
respite. He goes, I looked forward to every time you shared something with that bear because it was a distraction for me. He says, I would sit by my wife's hospital bed and not know if it was the last night I was going to have with her, holding her hand. And yet I would get a notification that Mr. Grin and Barrett had been sighted somewhere. And he says, it just really was a great thing for me. I was like, oh, okay. So I like doing
Wow.
things like
Wow.
that. So, and you know what?
Wow.
I like attention. So things like this will get attention. And that's why I want to have a nice name for him, because when
Yes.
he goes on this murder mystery with us, you know, people are going to ask what his name is. And I have to have a really clever name.
Okay.
So everybody head on over to my video there to name that weenie. That was
All
fun just
right.
recording that.
When is the cutoff?
You know, a few weeks. I didn't put a cutoff on it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't put a cutoff on it. I'll be honest, because I'm hoping that even a year from now, people go, what is this? And click on it and watch it and submit a name.
Absolutely.
Maybe I'll
Absolutely.
get a
Right.
Mrs. Weenie. And
Oh, that
I'll
would
be
be
able to
fun.
get another name. I told Papa Jim last night, I said, we really, really need to get a pet alligator to take with us. So
Oh.
we can have an interrogator or an investigator. I want an alligator in a vest to go on our crime scene things with us, so we can say that we brought our investigator, because it'll be an alligator in a vest.
Oh, a real one?
That is
No,
no.
no.
I thought you were talking like a little. They have them. You can get kids
Yeah,
get
no.
them, but you're not
This-
supposed to. I don't think. I
this.
don't know.
I don't want a real one. I got enough.
Like
of
that
this
one.
okay.
Like that one.
little guy.
Okay.
Just like this little guy. But this murder mystery is so neat, because I think we get to spend 7 hours in a city that we're not familiar with, and it's a walking tour, and your phone tells you where to go to solve rhymes and riddles. And once you solve them, you get statements from the eyewitnesses, so you can help determine who the murderer is.
There
Ooh.
used to be a game, and I don't know if people are still doing it, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it. Maybe you
Oh,
do.
I know. Mhm.
And people from all over the world were doing this. They called them caches, and you had
It's
to find the cache.
geocaching. We geocache.
Geocache.
Yeah, we do that.
Oh.
It's fun.
Is that they're still geocaching?
Oh, yes. And it's evolved. Actually, this murder mystery is a type of a geocache mystery, because you're using the coordinates on your phone, you know,
Yeah.
those coordinates, the latitude and longitude,
Mhm.
to find things. But there's also a new thing. We used to geocache where you would have to go find the little treasures.
Yeah.
But now they also have a thing called Adventure Lab that I was just keyed into. And it's from the same company. And it takes you on walking tours of different places. So, for instance, there is a town to the north of us in the state of Iowa, and it's where Music Man from 76 Tron.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, Meredith Wilson. That's where he was raised and born, and where he wrote that. So it takes you on this whole tour. You go to
Cool.
5 different places with your phone where it takes you, and you learn all about Meredith
Oh.
Wilson.
Oh,
and
yes. Yes. Wow. Well, about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, there was another thing where people, they would send, anyway, our son did it, and he would drive to a certain location, and there might be others join. Do you remember what that one was? I mean, it was a character from
was it Pokemon?
Yeah, is that what it
Pokemon
was?
Go.
Oh yeah, Pokemon. It was
Go.
yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister used to do that a lot with her son. They
You would-
used to do Pokemon Go stuff all the time.
And you take your
And
phone, and you could see, like it would show you
little
where they're
characters
at.
and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was really
Right.
into that.
But there were other people that might be at that same spot as you are, and you didn't know them from
Oh yeah.
anybody,
You don't know who people are. As a matter of fact, when you geocache,
right?
I can be in a parking lot and I'm the only one that knows what I'm there for. And so you start looking around for these little hidden things, and people will call the police on you or call security
Oh.
because you're looking suspicious. And then you have to explain what you're doing, because you have to be really careful that those people don't see you do these things.
Absolutely.
Because then it ruins the game. Because if you have some kids or even an adult that says, what did she do over there? And then they find the little hidden treasure, they'll destroy it. And then it's not there for the next person.
Oh, yeah.
But
Okay.
we used to do this with our granddaughter, I don't
Yeah.
know, 10, 12 years ago.
Right.
We had little daisy erasers,
Uh-huh.
the little erasers that had a happy face in the center and then little
Yes.
flowered petals on the outside. And every place we would go where we would find one of these geocaches, we would leave a little daisy eraser. So we called it making our daisy chain. And then we started finding baby monkeys from a barrel of monkeys.
Oh, yes.
You know,
Yeah.
you have the
Oh,
regular size
Yes.
barrel of monkeys, but they had the little
They
one.
got little ones.
Yeah.
Somebody started leaving little baby monkeys. So we started collecting baby monkeys and leaving our chain, our daisy chain. Because if you take a gift, you have to leave a gift.
Okay.
And it was sometime later that I was, and whoever, you make up a team name, and whoever was leaving the baby monkeys had a very unique name. And it was like the name of a college and a year.
Okay.
And it was like Dr. Cracker Creighton 76. I'm just going to throw that out there. That's not what it was. And I had an arm injury and I had to get occupational therapy.
Mhm.
And the occupational therapy was at the therapy office where there was a chiropractor. And I
Right.
was sitting in his office one day because he was adjusting my elbow for this injury. And I looked up on the wall and it's like, oh, he went to Creighton University and graduated 1976 and he cracks bones.
oh.
And I just looked at him and I said, do you like baby monkeys?
No.
And he goes, yeah. I said, oh, I like little daisy erasers. And so he said my name. He said my code name for
Yes.
this game.
Yes.
He knew
Yeah.
who I was. I knew who he was. It was really funny.
Oh,
That is
that's a
right.
small world.
Wow.
It is. And you'd be amazed how many people play these type of games. Dog. Okay, she got it up.
Aw.
But you know, there is a geocache. There's geocaches hidden all over the world.
Wow.
There she goes. Some of them you have to scuba dive to find.
Oh my gosh.
And the one that's the furthest away, we told our granddaughter, she was 7, and she showed up one weekend. We would geocache with her every weekend. And we said, you know, we found out that the farthest geocache or the furthest geocache from us is on the space station.
Really?
Yeah. And she got all dejected. And she goes, please don't tell me you and Grandpa went and got that one without me.
Oh.
Yes, honey. We got off of work on Tuesday. We flew up to the space station in a space shuttle and we got that geocache. But it's really a fun game. And, you know,
Wow,
I
I
think
didn't do it.
the regular geocaching is really good for those who are physically able to do it. I'm kind of at the point where I don't think I'll be doing a lot of those. But this adventure lab, if you're looking for something to do, I mean, you can just go to any random town and there's 3, 4, 5 different adventure labs. And it's basically just walking in a downtown area where they have the plaques of interest that you normally wouldn't find,
Mhm.
Wow.
or a building that has some historical reference that you normally wouldn't find. And you
Right.
learn about these things as you go.
Well, how
Wow.
about that?
Well, we watch, his name is Josh, and he's with Expedition Unknown.
Okay.
And one of his videos that we watched it's back a few years, but anyway, long story short, there is a man that years ago has there was like treasures put out, and he put them out all over.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they and so
Money. It was
huh?
money.
It
Wasn't
is
it
money. And you
Mhm.
turn it in. Well, you turn it in for a gem. I think it's what it is. You turn it in for a gem. But anyways, there's so that Josh he went on one expedition with people who thought they knew, you know, where they were going to find it, and they didn't find it. But then he turns around and he goes on another expedition, and the guy found it. And you talk about the man had such clues, and it involved you know, like different buildings and different bridges and different, you know. Anyway, it's still out there, and if anyone in the world wants to go and read the book, and then
Well,
look for the treasure, you're free to do
You
it.
can.
I can't think of that man's name, but didn't he die now? Isn't he?
Yes, the gentleman, but his wife and daughters. The last video I watched of that show, they presented there was one or two, one man, I think. Anyway, he was presented a gem. So I don't know if there's so much value in it, but
Treasure's
anyway.
buried with the man now. don't go look for it.
Wow. No. Yeah. I started saying, well,
But you would be surprised because I didn't realize until I started geocaching myself. Like you could be walking, if you go to a shopping center, and you
yes.
know how they have the brick or the rock wall, on the front of on a storefront. You've got
Yes.
stucco and then just the lower half is bricks or columns or something. You just be walking by, you don't know. There's a hidden rock that pulls out that has a compartment that has a container that you open it up and it has a log that you sign.
Wow.
If you're walking and you're just seeing a building like that and you're like, gosh, that's a weird place for a faucet, for a spigot.
Uh-huh.
Why would somebody have a spigot there? Because it's a fake rock with a spigot in the wall. You pull it out. There are somewhere like old telephone booths.
Yes.
You get these clues and then what numbers to dial, and it drops a whole tray down and it opens up and there's treasure in there.
Well,
Oh
we're
my
going to have to be more observant now when we go
Yeah.
places.
Be very
and this is
observant.
start really being observant.
You've been into a parking lot where they have the lights in the middle of the parking lot with those big round concrete cylinders.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it's got a little square metal box, and then the light pole comes up through the middle of it. Be surprised.
Well, my.
You have to sit there and act like you don't know what's going on, and you can lift that little box up, and there will be an Altoid container with a magnet on it inside. And you open up the Altoid container, and there's little treasures. There's baby monkeys or, whatever people want to leave behind. It's so much fun. So much fun.
Wow.
And they do it over there in England, too, the Major. They do things like that.
We'll have to have to pay attention now every place you go.
Now,
looking around.
I would suggest you at least download it.
Okay.
You can find just find a geocaching app, and then you can look at the map. And I bet you, ladies, you probably have a couple hundred right in your neighborhood that you don't even know about.
Wow. I'm going to start looking now. I'm going to start paying more attention.
Yeah, you can. I know one of the ones I found was we had to go to a children's park. They had a caboose train, and I looked everywhere for that geocache. I could not find it.
Okay.
They had taken the head of a bolt and hollowed out the bolt, and it was magnetized, and it was stuck to the train right there with all of the other bolts where it was all put together. And you'd never know that, and it was on an underneath side, so the kids wouldn't knock it off or anything. You would just think it's part of the train. You'd have no idea it was a hidden treasure.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
It's really interesting.
Wow.
I had
so much fun. It is so much fun. We would plan entire weekends around geocaching with our granddaughter. And our son, who was 18 at the time, was like, this is the stupidest thing ever. And he went with us. And when he found his first one, he was all into it. I mean, he was climbing trees. He was all over the place to find the next one.
Wow.
Forever.
Wow.
So, if you're just looking for a fun Saturday when the weather's nice, you can look up some that are a local park or something, and you can impress your Valentine and say, look, there's a secret treasure hidden here somewhere, and then you can find it. And most phones these days have GPS enabled.
Yes.
As long as your GPS is enabled, it'll tell you coordinates where you're going on this little map for this app, and then you can find these little things.
Wow.
Mr. Doug and Sauerkraut, you got to go to the video. Put it on the video.
Yeah, you have to put it at the video. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
I can't keep track of every place where everybody's leaving name suggestions. I'll never be able to.
Now, there's a certain video, and I think if I talk loud enough, you can hear me. He's in the other. I think he's in the other.
Name that wiener.
Name that wiener, but name it at the video.
On the video, please. He's just adorable. I think he's so cute. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it, and I think it's gonna be great because it'll get us out of the house again.
Yes.
Really devoted to the farm and spent, the first couple of years really devoted to the farm. Then was diagnosed with cancer, and now we've got this whole cinnamon thing going on. So I really haven't been able to get out and do the fun things that we've done in the past.
That you have done. That's right. I mean, so many lives. That's right. So many people are.
Yeah. So
the name of
The name of what?
I was going to say the name of your video is Name Our Mascot Official Registration.
Yes.
Right. Okay, there it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Name Our Mascot Official Registration. And it
That's
has a
where you have
picture
to
of
go.
Alicia and Papa John and Aunt Jim. I said Papa
I was gonna say,
John.
what? Papa John.
Pizza. That's pretty darn
Whoa.
good pizza. And yeah, and it has the little wiener dog there. So you can't miss it.
I didn't want to say in the title, name our wiener, because I didn't want to get red
No.
flagged
No.
by YouTube.
No.
But I'll tell you, you mentioned John. And just again, about just how sometimes I can't put two and two together. My husband, Jim, and his brother, Joe, went out to see their sisters and mother last year or the year before all this happened,
Yes.
2019, I guess. And as a thank you, my sister sent me a care package, and it had all of these beautiful things and a beautiful blanket and everything. And then at the bottom, there was this beautiful, beautiful little vase about this big. It was just gorgeous with inlaid mother of pearl. Well, she also sent me some oils, and she sent me the thing that you plug in to make the scent in your room,
Yes.
the oil
Oh, yeah.
diffuser thing. And so I thought, oh, this is a pretty thing to keep my oils in. It's just beautiful. Came in a little leather bag or a purple velvet bag with a gold cord. So pretty. And so I opened it up to smell the oil. Nothing there. It's like, it doesn't smell, but there's something in there. And so I shook it. No, and no, I couldn't figure out what it was. And then it dawned on me, oh my gosh, these are cremains. They were the cremains of Jim's brother, John. I had snorted my brother-in-law up my nose, thinking it was a beautiful scented powder or something to go with these oils, and even tasted it. And I called my sister. I said, thanks for the heads up. There's all these beautiful things for me in this care package. And then there's this beautiful vase. And I told her what happened. She just about died from laughter. She thought it was so hysterical. She goes, I told Jim to tell you I was sending you an urn with a little bit of John's ashes in it. Well, when Jim got home that night, I said, did you forget to tell me something? Were you supposed to tell me something about a package your sister was sending us? Oh, yeah. She's sending some of John's ashes. Oh, yeah, I know. Because I snorted your brother up my nose today. Well, what was bad is I didn't know at the time. It's like, once I realized it was cremains, it's like, oh my gosh, did I just snort my brother-in-law or my father-in-law? Did I just snort my father-in-law up my nose? It's like I'm plugging up one side, blowing it out the trying to get rid of it all. But when you said John, it made me remember that story.
Was it? Which one was it?
It was the brother-in-law.
Okay.
John.
Well, he didn't feel a thing. So
No, but we're still laughing about it.
he didn't feel a thing, Alicia. It's just
It was just one of those moments where it was like,
oh,
your brother had the
God.
hats for me, and now he's up my nose.
what
God.
what did it taste like?
It just didn't have a taste, and it didn't have a smell. It was just plain. I mean, it didn't even have an ashy smell or a fire smell. There was nothing there that made me think. I sat there for the longest time going, what is this? And then it just dawned on me. This isn't a pretty little vase with all of this beautiful inlaid mother of pearl of doves. Oh my gosh, it's an urn.
Oh, Alicia, that's probably the most
It was
that's the awfulest story I've ever heard.
Yes. Yes.
That's the awfulest story I've ever heard. But
oh, I suppose it could have been worse.
well,
Could have
I mean,
protein shake.
yeah, baked with it. You should have at dinner that night, you should have made muffins or something.
I should have said, honey, would you like a little Parmesan on your spaghetti tonight?
Yeah. Say, and after he ate it, this was so good that your sister said, so good. So good.
Highly recommended. Family secret recipe.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, you guys.
Are you okay,
Yeah,
Ann?
I'm doing okay. Where's your dog at?
Right? She's not retching over that. Another day
Well,
on the farm for her.
hey, it's just one of those naive things again.
Right.
One of those
Right?
little
It
things
is.
that happen.
Talk about keep it in the family, Major said.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm naive about stuff like that. So I don't know.
I don't
It
know
makes
that
for
I
good
would have.
stories.
Absolutely. Oh, we have, yes. There are things that happen to us that should never happen, but they do. So what are you going to do?
Oh
You got
my,
to roll with the punches.
You got
you
to. You got
do.
to.
You just
I could be totally mortified over it, never speak of it again, or I could share it and have some good laughs.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what a lot of my life is. So, but ladies,
That's
I
right.
thank you so much. We didn't have
Oh,
snack time or anything. We just been gabbing. It's been 2 hours.
it's always
But I've
great.
enjoyed having you up for a little afternoon delight as
I
always.
just realized I forgot to put on my little hairpiece. I did have
Oh,
a hairpiece to wear.
Aw.
oh, look, that's
Oh.
I
adorable.
think we wore these. Do you remember what we wore these for? Oh, was it the 60s? We did a show on the 60s or
How
the 70s.
fun.
Was that what it was
Might have.
for?
We might have. But I will say this: you didn't live here at the time, but when the girlie had her birthday,
Oh yeah.
a big birthday,
One of the
we had
times we were gone.
when you
Yeah.
were gone, we had a Hawaiian big
Luau.
birthday. Hmm.
Yeah, you had a
So yes,
luau.
we had, and she wore. I bought her the coconuts.
Yep.
She wore.
Coconut.
I was the girlie. I was looking at pictures. They're on my phone. No, they're on my Facebook of you and your coconuts and all that. It was real fun.
Oh, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Diddly dee.
Now she went to a professional photographer and had pictures of her 40th, her turning 40.
Uh-huh.
They were the most hysterical pictures now I have ever seen of her anyhow. She had cake and she
Yeah.
was
Oh,
posing with her
the
she
smash
posed
cake.
with her cake.
Yes. Yes.
And what else was it? She had a glass of wine, I think.
Yeah.
But
She did.
she did all, and she had cake all over her face where she
Yeah.
was like, you know how babies do when
Yep.
their first baby and they eat their first birthday cake. That was the funniest thing I've ever
She did a
seen.
smash cake. Yep. She did a
Smash
smash.
cake. But some of them were just like, you know, I'm gonna eat it, you know.
I love
So
it. Love it.
It
yeah.
was
So
really cute. It
yeah,
was
she
cute.
wore a tutu and the Hawaiian skirt, and oh, it was,
And
yes, and
she was born in Hawaii, and so
these
my
are funny. We have
dad
fun.
used to call her, yeah, our dad used to call her his little wahine, and she
Oh,
was the first grandchild,
Yeah.
so in the family. So I have that first too. I got married first, had the first baby.
And she was born in a pink hospital.
Yeah.
oh,
The
Yes,
hospital
and
was pink at that
the
time.
big, well, it's still pink. It's the
Okay.
largest. It was the largest hospital in the Pacific, which is Tripler Medical Army
I don't know about it
Center.
now. They've changed so much, but
Well, I think it's still probably the largest facility, but it's a big pink brick hospital on the mountainside. And
yeah,
when you fly into Honolulu, the planes go right like that, and you see that
yeah,
hospital. I mean, it's just very majestic, sits up there, and
and you think it's like a big bubblegum factory or something.
yeah,
yeah. Here it
and
is. A big
it's a big, yeah, military. And when I had her, they had rooming in, so as soon as you were able to, like the next morning or whatever it was, you took care of your baby.
Oh,
Your baby was with you, and you took classes before you left the hospital.
I didn't get anything. They were just like, here you go.
uh,
Take it home. Figure it
Well,
out.
military wanted to be sure that you could take care of your baby and then prevent another one. So they had they had we had classes on birth control before I mean, they were thorough. They took care of everything. But it was a great facility, you know.
And it's still
I was
pink. I'm
just
looking at
I was
pictures
so
of it.
young, I was the mother that was screaming at the top of her lungs, scaring all the other mothers. And the doctor came in and told me, you are scaring the other mothers, and we're going to give you something now to relax you.
It
And I
doesn't
was
work.
like, and I'm screaming,
A Mai Tai.
I'm splitting apart. I'm
I've got a
dying.
Mai Tai, and a
Yeah.
Mai Tai.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that would
was
have been
horrible.
nice.
I guess, I
That's
mean, I was
Hawaiian.
so bad. I was so bad that when I had our second baby, I didn't open my mouth. I did not moan. I did not when I was, and it was bad. I did not, and I strained all of my neck muscles all the way down. There were all these muscles and in my shoulders from doing this and
Oh,
not screaming. I didn't
Nope.
say a
Nope.
word. And my
Yep.
mom was there, and she was, because their dad was out in the field. And so I had this baby with my mom, which it worked out
He
okay.
was out in
She
the field.
came and stayed with me.
It's an
But
army thing.
yeah, but I was sweating, and she would come and take that Kleenex, and she was wiping my forehead and telling me, "Oh, you're doing so good, honey. You're just doing so good. I can't." I'm just thinking, "Get away from me, old woman." It's just all I could think was, "Get away
Well,
from
let's
me."
see here.
And but I did not open my mouth, and oh man, every
Alicia,
muscle.
it's been fun to be here.
Oh,
Wonderful.
we're gonna
You.
pull Anne out of that
I'm
traumatic
not sure.
experience.
I don't know if you'll have us back, but you can have me back.
You're both welcome at any time, and then at some other time, Anne and I will share labor and delivery horror stories because I was only 16, and
were you screaming?
Yeah.
You're dying.
Yep.
I mean, just screaming.
Yep.
You
So
know, it's
we
funny
don't want
now.
to scare people in the chat. Yeah, Major says, leave it there, Anne, leave it there. So, ladies, thank you so much for
Thank
joining me
you
today.
so much.
I'm going
Aw.
to hit the kitchen and make that beautiful, I hope, low carb cheesecake little dessert for dinner
Oh,
tonight.
yes.
Make Papa Jim some dinner, and I've got 2.5 hours to do it.
Okay, you can do it.
You can do
can
it.
do it.
Mine will be coming home in the next half hour, so I got to get going.
All right.
We're
I'm
the
going to put
early
you ladies
birds.
backstage, and then I'll say my goodbyes to you there. But
Okay.
say goodbye to the
Bye,
chat, and
everyone.
then I will wrap things up.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
it's
you
so
for
good to be
having
here.
us. Oh,
Thank you.
It was a
so much
pleasure.
fun.
It was a pleasure. I love having you ladies up, and I will see you in just a minute. Let me say goodbye to
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Okay.
Goodbye.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's always fun having AnnLynn up for a little chat. 1, 2, cha, cha, cha. It's nice to have them up for a chit chat. And I appreciate you guys spending some time with us today. I apologize for not reading the chat. I will try to go back tomorrow and catch up with a few things. If you have a specific question, you can leave it in the comments below. But thank you so much for spending time with us today. Don't forget, we have coffee chat on Wednesday mornings. And then if you want to help name this wiener dog, go to that special video about help us name our mascot, and then tune in on Saturdays when we actually spin the wheel, the carnival wheel, to see how much money we put away for our trip. Will we be sleeping in the back of our car and eating out of a dumpster behind a sizzler, or will we actually get to stay in a nice bed and breakfast and maybe have some delicious food on our trip? This little guy doesn't eat much, so I'm not worried about him. And he's house trained. He's potty broken. I don't have to worry about any of that either. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. No, there is no quickie tonight at 9:30 because we did our afternoon delight here. So, all right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.